Is the final developer session of EGX 2016. I think we're ending on a pretty good one. We're going to be talking to the team from Playtonic, the guys that are making Yooka Laylee. And yes, I'll do a quick round of introductions. I'm Chris Brett from Eurogamer. I'm joined by Gavin Price. Hello. You're the studio head at Playtonic, is that right?
Yeah.
We've got Chris Sutherland, you're project director on Yooka Laylee.
That's right, yes.
That's pretty cool, but you're also the guy that did the announcing in Player Instinct.
I did do that.
I feel like that should be your defining title. I should have avoided that. And also, Steve Mills, you are the character artist. You made Yooka and Laylee, and also another couple of characters people might have heard of, Banjo and Kazooie.
Yes, that's right. They've been making me do character animation again, yes.
They've been making you do it, right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to have a brief Q&A. Here, and then we have a little bit of a surprise to show halfway through the panel, and then we're going to have some audience questions at the end. So do think of some nice things to ask at the end of the panel. I guess I'll start us off. Obviously, Yooka Laylee, there's a huge appetite for it. Your Kickstarter was ridiculous. Like the amount of interest, I think must be been a surprise to you guys. You have a huge crowd to show up to hear you talk about your game. But the thing I want to know, I guess, is it's been 20 years since the release of Banjo-Kazooie, almost 20 years anyway. Have you needed to modernize anything? Have you needed to change anything? Even though you're making a game clearly inspired by that, what have you had to change in 2016 to make it still feel relevant, still feel fresh?
So one of the things, we look back at the old games ourselves, and there's clearly some bits which we think, right, we don't want to mess with these bits. We love how they play still, pretty sure the fans do too. So we just kind of looked at modern tastes and thought, right, how can we allow players to come and play a game like this and play it their way, more so than, oh, you must do this in this order, reach the end of the game, and when you talk about it to other people, you're going to be pretty much just saying the same thing. So we just wanted to make it a lot more replayable, have things, worlds, unlock, extend, what moves become available when, just add a bit more freedom to that, and open it up just to capture more modern gamer tastes, and also not be the kind of game that restricts how long much free time you've got to play it, just be more accessible that way, but without kind of messing with the bits that, well, they're not broken, so don't try and fix it, keep the bits everyone loves there.
Chris, what do you think those defining features are for a game like this? What is it that makes the 3D platformers that you make distinct?
I think there's a couple of elements. So one of them could be the control, so it needs to feel responsive, it needs to feel like when you're playing that the character does what you want it to do, but also, I mean, for me, I think part of the reason I think the control works so well is because I'm not that great a gamer, so I'm a bit ham-fisted, so I'm just pressing buttons and I'm not quite at the right time, but I still expect things to happen, so I just have to make things work in that way. And so I think as a side effect of that, it comes out and it feels like you can chain moves together and you can do cool things with the character. So that's one aspect. I guess another aspect is just the humour of the characters as well, and then obviously another one is just the feel of the characters and what they look like, the animation.
Yeah, I remember when I first visited you, just before you were about to reveal the Kickstarter, you had made a sort of playground area to just really sort of nail movement, platforming. I imagine platforming is quite important in a 3D platformer. What is it that you're looking for? What does it need to feel like to prove that you have got it right?
I think it's a sense of just control and fun. I mean, when we started, we didn't have any graphics, we didn't have any model or anything, so we just started with a cube, moved that around, made that jump, and then that felt kind of fun, and then we just added more to it, and then obviously with animations it becomes more fun to control.
I think game feel is often one of the most difficult things to really nail a definition for, but you're moving a cube around inside a world that doesn't have any graphics. What do you need? What are you looking for? What is it that shows that you've nailed the movement, the controls, the feel of it?
I think our approach is to look at, if you look at the game think about the game when it's going to be finished, and then you think, what's the player going to be doing for most of the time through that? They're going to be navigating around, they're going to be jumping from platform to platform, and then you think, right, we have to get that working as soon as possible.
and that's got to feel good. And then from then on, what you do through the rest of the development is you iterate on that, and you just kind of go, hey, wouldn't it be cool if we had this move? Or maybe it feels like when I jump here, actually it feels like I should be able to press the button again and do another thing, because it just feels like it doesn't quite feel right, and we try that out. Or if it doesn't work, we'll go back, we'll try something else. So there's a lot of iteration. It's kind of really the secret, I suppose. Fortunately, we've done this enough times that hopefully we don't make too many wrong turns, and our iteration is quite quick.
Yeah, you guys have a little bit of history with genre, I think. So Steve, they've got this playground box that they're messing around with. They've got a cube jumping around, sort of getting the feel of it, and they're telling you, we need some graphics now, we need to know what this looks like. Did you always have a strong vision of what Yooka Laylee would eventually look like? Did you always know it was those characters?
Yeah, I mean, Chris is suggesting I'm lazy. It wasn't a cube for long. It's not like he was a cube for 6 months. I did give him some graphics to work with relatively quickly. So the first one we had was this tiger character, and I think the 2D picture of him was actually projected onto the side of this cube. So we had this like really bad tiger cube like jumping around. And then I think because being a small startup company with limited funds, we had to get the characters right straight away, do it quickly, and thankfully we arrived. I think everyone is pleased at the result with the community and the bat. I think even given another year to iterate on the characters, there's very little I'd have done differently. So.
What was it about those creatures that works for the game you were making? How did you know it needed to be a chameleon and a bat?
Well, I was given free rein by Gav, which is a great thing to have, like the autonomy to create what you like, especially for characters in the lead role, which is very similar to the way it was back in the Banjo-Kazooie days. So we're kind of thinking about what characters haven't been in video games much. We're thinking about the abilities the characters are going to need to have. Chameleons are cool creatures with loads of cool abilities around camouflage, the tail, the tongue. So we couple that with a character that needs to fly. We couldn't do a bird because of, I think some other guys did a bird, in a backpack.
Somewhere.
So it was a bat was the next one, because again they have cool abilities around sonar, and we coupled the two together and they just make a great combination.
Fair enough. Gavin, how has the studio developed since then? So when I did first visit you, I think there was maybe 7 or 8 people working at Playtonic?
Yeah, when you first came, you saw we were back to back in the storeroom cupboard of the office block. And that was kind of nice, because it's fast and iterative. We can turn around and chat and just bounce ideas. But then, as the Kickstarter went so well, we kind of had the chance to grow the team with the right people. And so getting those people in, but not scaling up and losing what we already had. The quick turnaround, the friendly atmosphere, the ability to turn around and tell Steve Mayles what you're doing is a 7 out of 10, could you up your game a bit? But I've never had to say that.
This tiger on the cube is just not doing it for us, Steve.
I'll take it. No, but the frame rate was good.
Exactly, that's the main
thing. Yeah, that was a plus. And Steve doesn't give himself enough credit when it comes to coming up with a character and thinking, yeah, what abilities can they have that are special, unique and cool, but also the regular staple for the 3D platforming moveset. He really thinks hard about how to leverage the characters and make all the regular moves unique and bespoke and feel extra special too. And it really is a privilege to sit there and watch Steve work with Chris, and they go on these fast feedback loops, getting the characters feeling amazing. They do it really well, they do it fast. And even now, not many people in the industry who I've worked with later on in my life are like Steve. When animating a character, are actually saying, well, it looks really good, but it doesn't play as good. I'd like to do the animation that plays fantastic first, and then is made to look good. And Steve does that. So yeah, all the while growing the team out, it's about getting people in who share that kind of way of working and put gameplay first and foremost above everything else. And yeah, luckily we've been able to do that thanks to the fantastic Kickstarter backing we had.
Do you think it's always going to be important to Playtonic that there is that feeling to the studio that it's small enough that you can turn around and talk to each other and react quickly, I guess? Because you moved from quite a big company, you started again. Is it going to be important that is always the an aspect of the team?
Yeah, it's very important. To see the game how we know it is now, I mean the show build today, that's even a couple of months old now. It's got lots of features on that level, blocked off, cut out, and we don't realise that how big a game we've made until recently. We were trying to do all our polish reviews on the game, and they were taking hours and days, and we're like, wow, we know where everything is, and it's taken a long time to get through this game. And to do that with a small team, where it'll end up being roughly 18 months of development with an average team size of about 15, it's really important that you have the fast feedback loop. You trust people to just get on and do their best work, and you don't have to say, oh, come back and check in and review. I've got an amazing team which have never once made me feel like I have to be a studio manager. To myself, I think of myself, so I'm just a designer. That's all I have to do, and luckily, yeah, I've got the guys behind me that enable the studio to run itself and the development process and the creativity to just flow, and yeah, I don't have to worry about it.
Excellent. So you have, in the past, you released a playground demo for backers to get hands-on with Yooka Laylee, but this EGX is the first time you've actually seen people play what is close to being the final game. You said the build is still a bit out of date now, but it's really close to what this game will look like at the start of next year. What's that been like for you guys to actually watch people play your game and react to it?
I think it was initially, before we came here, there was a mixture of excitement and terror and fear and more terror, and just wondering what people are going to think. And we didn't know whether people were going to like it or whether they were going to pick up the controller and just go, what's this? Throw it down in disgust and storm off. But what we've seen is people being taken back to the gameplay of their youth, and they're kind of saying, oh, this takes me way back. I just love playing these games. And we've seen people that we wouldn't expect to see, maybe more females than we expected, so, and also a lot of kids playing, people who've never played our games in the past, so that's been great to see, actually, and so it's been an amazing feedback.
Yeah, obviously the real core of your audience, at least to begin with, were fans of Banjo-Kazooie, but as you just mentioned and we were talking about before the panel, you've also seen a bunch of the next generation of kids come up and play your game. So is it nice to watch new players be introduced to characters that could end up being their Banjo-Kazooie, that have the same kind of feeling towards them as some of the older players have to those original characters?
Yeah, I mean, it's great that younger people are playing the games. It's probably a completely new genre to them. It's what was like kind of old hat 15 years ago feels really brand new now, just because people haven't been making these games for such a long time. So that's great to see.
Excellent. You are almost upon release, so it's at the start of next year. You said the build that people have played, there are a few things that need changing, but what's left? Like, what are you going to be working on over the next few months in this kind of final period pushing towards release?
So now it's just all about polish, and that was something we iterated in our Kickstarter. We didn't want to put lots of extra goals in for content that wouldn't have been deemed important enough up front. So now we're really happy with what we've got. We've still got, I think, the best surprises and the best content still to reveal. And now it's just about getting rid of all the snags, make sure that when it gets into the customer's hands, it's just pure fun. That's all.
So there's not necessarily much of a feature list left to hit. It's more like make sure everything just feels right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there anything that you've seen during this show? You said this is one of the first times you've actually been able to watch people in person play your game. Is there anything that's jumped out at you that you'd like to tweak, or that you sort of, oh, maybe we could make this a little bit better? And anything kind of jumped out during the EGX?
Yeah, I don't want to pull them all in you, but I'm thinking we should go back to the tiger now. I'm a bit concerned about that. To be honest, you do spot plenty of stuff and you think, oh, now you can see someone else playing it who isn't coming to the game with the dev knowledge, that yeah, you need to make it slightly easier and to get into an area, see where people are going. I've got a theory that in 3D games, whenever you come to a junction, it kind of feels more natural to go to the right because it's easier to push the left stick to the right. And so you see most people seem to go around the level in a similar pattern. So we're going to go back and make sure that we've not put all the collectibles down in the game yet. So all the quizzes where we want people to have their attention drawn to, things like that. Yeah, watching people play here has been great for that. Yeah, and it'll manifest itself in the final game, as does all the feedback we've ever seen, including the toy box feedback. There's plenty to go in it, and it's really cool how it aligns with the feedback we were thinking about ourselves.
So obviously you mentioned collectibles, it's a huge part of what makes your 3D platformers what they are. Are there any secrets to how you approach where to place those things and how to present them to the player that you've picked up over the years?
There are some guidelines that help you along, yeah, and certainly even in the visual of the collectibles, we were fully 3D with the quills at one point, and they kind of didn't pop out on the background enough, they kind of blended in too much, so we wanted them to be a bit more eye-catching. We thought about going back to the 2D look, the lighting as it hit them made that actually play in our favour, and so yeah, there's some ways where you put them down. One of the designers claims to have read something psychological that said if you put them down in groups of 4, that seems to be more satisfying when you collect a string. So yeah, we're thinking about lots of things, how we're now just going back and putting in the final touches on the game.
Chris, is there a line to walk between making sure that players can find these things and also making some of them a little more challenging, a little more difficult, so that the player feels something more when they do actually find them?
So, sorry, you mean when you're...
With collectibles, like, is there a line to walk between making them easy to find or making it a bit more challenging to let the player really get some satisfaction once they imagine?
I think there's a mixture of both. You want ones that are kind of... Sometimes they're there to guide you on your path, to say, this is an interesting place to go or investigate that you might not otherwise have thought. And the other thing is sometimes you want, when somebody says, hey, I'm going to explore this area, wonder if there's anything around there, you want to kind of surprise them and go, oh, actually, there's something to collect around here. And they're kind of, it's one of those, it sounds like a cliche, but they're surprised and delighted to find these little things that have been put around there. And they go, oh, actually, there's a tiny little reward for just finding that little quill that's there. So there's a kind of combination of both.
Absolutely. You guys have been making these kind of games for such a long time. When you look back at Banjo-Kazooie, the original 3D platformer that really defines what Yooka-Laylee has become, what do you see as the big differences between when you're working on that game and what you're doing today?
I think one is game structure. It was very linear back then, which actually some people enjoy. And I used to, when I was testing some of the games, because I had to speed run through, I liked the fact I could just go mop up everything, move on, do the next stuff, move on, next level, and not forget too much about the past. But this time around, we know we want the game to be more accessible to a wider audience. We don't want to sacrifice difficulty for difficulty's sake. We want people of any age to be able to come in, enjoy it, and then to master the game and go and see absolutely everything. That's where we tailor the experience for the hardcore. Whereas back on the other games, the difficulty was pretty much tailored to the dev's own capability. So we have to be more aware of that now.
Absolutely. Steve, also, I guess, technology's come on quite a way since some of those older games. What does that now allow you to do with Yooka-Laylee that wouldn't have been possible back then?
I think the characters and animation have stayed surprisingly similar since those days. I mean, of course, there's a difference in polygon count. In the N64, we'd have like 400 polygons for a character, and then that is now an eyeball. So that's the difference there. But the way the characters and animation are done, they're almost their own separate little things. So that's good for me because I'm not that technical. So if I had to delve into the way the environments are constructed, I think I'd be breaking the game every day. So thankfully, I can do my own little character and animation, and then it gets put in, and I'm not breaking too much. So that's good.
How about gameplay-wise? Presumably you can fit a lot more into Yooka-Laylee. One of the things you've already mentioned a couple of times is that you want replayability, you want those worlds to change and move with the player. Is there anything else that jumps out that you can do in terms of gameplay with the power you now have at your disposal?
I guess we can achieve a lot more variety. There's not just 10 of a key collectible per level anymore, so you can fit a lot more stuff in memory, do a lot more different types of challenges throughout each level. Each level can kind of have its own special theme, not just from a visual sense. We're trying to make it play and feel very different to the other levels, and they'll kind of have their own very individual flavours in terms of even as to how world extension unlocking might be. The first level is kind of helps you show the players all the features you've got at their most understandable state, but as you go through the game, we ramp that up every time, and with the flexibility of Unity as a development environment and the extra power forwarded, you can just be a lot more flexible, plan ahead for having lots of variety, iterate on it fast, and hopefully we don't mess up.
You're doing very well to just keep on going through that noise. One final question before we move on to something a little bit of a reveal. Let's go back to character design, and it will become apparent why you want to talk about characters. What is it that you think defines a Playtonic character? It's not just the googly eyes or the daft names. What is it that...
Look for sort of a bit of an X factor in the characters, where we really try to like match up the appeal. We know exactly the sort of game we're making forward, which is a big advantage from the start. Personally myself, I try to take a feature of a creature and exaggerate that. In the case of Yooka to be the crest, as chameleons have a sort of a small crest thing going on, but it's obviously nothing like the massive thing we have on our character, and that crest obviously serves a double purpose, because it kind of houses Laylee in almost like a little cockpit.
Absolutely. Okay, well, with that in mind, Gavin, I believe we're going to have a look at something now. A little trailer's going to play behind us. Would you like to introduce this?
So yeah, this is a character trailer we've put together. We try and think of what's the next thing along our release plan that we want to show off, and we've arrived at this point.
Alright, let's have a look.
Product not yet rated.
Twitter.
Who's Out There, which is a really cool character, much loved game, developers which share the same kind of values we do as developers, and have created something fantastic in the past.
Hang on, I keep using plural words here. Does this suggest there's going to be other guest characters that might pop up?
None that I know of,
okay,
honestly.
All right.
But I'm not close to the idea.
Right, fair enough.
Not for Yooka Laylee though. I think Yooka Laylee, we're really happy with having Yacht Club Lenders, Shovel Knight, and he's an awesome character. We're big fans of the game, so it was kind of almost a selfish thing to do as well, in terms of, oh, if we're going to have someone, let's have someone we love, someone who can appear on all platforms. that was important.
Is it quite nice being indie and being able to be like, we quite like you, and you might like us as well, maybe we should work together? You'd have to go through, presumably, a lot of different steps to make that happen.
I think that's right. I think, you know, if it was a large company, we'd have to have a lot of approvals, there'd be discussions that could take years before that decision was made, but I think it was probably just an exchange of a few calls or emails, and it was like, yeah, let's get on with it.
That's brilliant, yeah. Okay, I think we're going to open up to some audience questions now. There's going to be a microphone that's down here. If anyone would like to step up and ask something nice, that would be great. Something very nice, please. Oh, there we are. Hello.
Hello. Hello. I played Yooka Laylee out on the show floor. I loved it. I've got the toy box as well. It's fantastic. One of the things I noticed was missing from the stable platform tool set, if you will, was the like a ledge grab. And I'm curious if that's something that's going to be coming back, and if not, if that's like an active design decision that you've made to go, no, we want to take that out, and for whatever reason that might be.
It's something we did consider, and we looked at, and we've made other adjustments in there. There's things such as, which aren't actually in other games we've done, where you try to walk off a ledge, and if you're not holding, without getting too technical, if you're not holding the stick in a direction, then it will actually pull you back onto the ledge. So we've done some other corrections to help players. So it's something we consider, but like I say, we tackled it in other ways in this case.
Fantastic. It's not a deal breaker either. It's great. Thank you very much.
You're letting people fall off ledges. It's unbelievable. Yep, we got another question here.
Hello again, lads.
Hello.
I kind of got a two-part question. The first one is, who thought it was a good idea for the engine room in Rusty Bucket Bay? Because it's been 15 years and I don't know anybody who's got past it. But a more serious question is, you've done the Banjo-Kazooie throwback now. Is there anything from the old Rareware days that you want to consider reformatting into the modernized term? Because maybe a new Diddy Kong Racing sort of idea, or maybe a reformat on the Killer Instinct? I'm basically asking what's next for Playtonic Games.
Is there anyone from PR in the room? No, we can say
he's there, he's right there.
Hang on, look, he's a big guy. I'm not going to mess. We think about it a lot, we read everything that everyone says online, and there's lots of aligned thinking. But one thing I do think is important for Playtonic that I actually want to capture is that old feeling of secrecy and surprise. So you don't really want the answer, I don't think. So,
well, thank you for your time then.
Can I just say, this chap here is one of our backers. He's, sorry for calling you out. He's done the voice of the Pagey. His name's Blake Swift. And thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
So,
that's awesome. You just started a round of applause for one of your fans. I think that's very, very commendable. That's cool.
I just want to say for starters, I actually did manage to do the Rusty Bucket Bay engine room. But I'm just noticing, I mean, you seem to have so many fantastic characters in the game. Other than, say, maybe Yooka Laylee, which is each of your favourites?
I'm going to be selfish and go for Dr. Quack. I loved him. That was Mark Stevenson's character, I think. And I got to do the voice for him, so Dr. Quack for me, and that makes me want to give him his own game in future. So
that's what's next.
Maybe.
I'm tempted to say Laylee, but then that would make Yooka feel bad. So I don't know if I can say Laylee unless I say it very quietly. You might not hear. So perhaps Laylee.
Thank you very much. And of course I'm going to say one of my own characters because I'm selfish. So I'm going to go for Trouser.
Thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to the game.
Awesome, thank you.
My favourite character is also Trouser, but that's just very, very immature. Sorry. Okay, excellent. I think that all. No, we have one more question. Got there just in time.
Just one more point. If you ask any museum curator, they'll say the walking room look left, turn right. But there are museums like that around the world. Just want to visit.
Thanks, yeah. We do deserve to be in a museum, most of us. I can't believe we're still going.
That's a really downer point to end on, but I think that does it for this session. Thank you so much to everyone for coming along, and thank you to the Playtonic team. Let's give them a big warm round of applause. And yeah, I should just also point out, if anyone would like to talk to the team, they're going to be around the stage area, so please do come up, and yeah, hope you had a good show.